Hello friends, welcome to Mentor Vikas channel. In this video, we are going to reveal some of the untold truth in this video itself. Okay, so let's start with the basic introduction of what is JavaScript. So JavaScript is not just a programming language, but it's the language of website, or you can say it's the language of web. So the whole web is dependent on somewhere JavaScript. Okay, by here or there, it is dependent on JavaScript. Each and every browser have their own separate JavaScript engine, which is alone responsible for running the JavaScript code. Okay, so why just JavaScript is so important? Okay, so whenever you get introduced with that web development term, there you must have and listen about this JavaScript, HTML and CSS. So these are the quite popular terms that you listen often while in your web development journey, right? So let's understand what is this HTML, CSS and JavaScript and what are its practical use cases. Okay, so let's say here we have some stick. Okay, and here by using this stick I had made this structure, right? Great. Then I put some mud on it like this, like this, like this, like this, and I just fill this because this is the structure. This is the structure which I had made with the stick, and then I had putting some mud here, and by using that mud or the clay I had just built this structure like this. Okay, so now it's look like a human. Okay, let's say so this figure is so beautiful that I pray God, hey God, please do something. I really put my heart and soul to build this figure, right? And I want it to be life. If by any means God agreed to give this structure a soul, then this soul will get the ability to move, to eat, to play, to love, to feel, to everything, right? Whatever you can do, this figure can also do, right? So this soul in this body is what we call JavaScript. Okay, so all that functionality that this body can do now is just because of soul. And if you just remove this soul from this structure, now it just became a structure which can't feel anything, can't move, can't play, can't eat. It basically don't do anything. It just stay there, right? So now understand what is HTML, what is and CSS. So that HTML is the basic skeleton that we had built with sticks. So this is the skeleton. Next we add some features, like we add some designs, we add some muscles, we add some skin, and we build by using this skin and muscles we add a very beautiful structure, right? So this muscles and how we had decorated this structure is what we call CSS. Okay, but still at this point it is useless. Yeah, you can use this as a showpiece, right? But you can't actually have any use case, right? So to build that use case you had put a soul into it. Okay, so the soul is getting into this body, and now this body is not just dead, but it became life. It became the life itself, right? So this is the work of JavaScript in web development. So you had built this all, right? And you had added this text. So you added this text. This is HTML. You make some styles. As you can see here, we had styled this page. This is CSS, and you made this interaction. Like if I scroll, as you can see, it goes up and down. This is an action. Okay, if I click on this, it will open something. If I move my pen, it will create a write. Okay, so if I move my pen, it will write on this screen. Okay, so all these are what we call function. These all are some kind of feature or function. So this function is present here just because of JavaScript, because this browser support JavaScript. So by using this JavaScript, we had creating all these functions. As you can see, I choose this, I choose this, I choose this. So all this is just because of I am using JavaScript on this platform, right? Okay, so now you have this basic understanding of what a JavaScript can do for you, okay, and what the JavaScript role on any web page or website. Okay, so now let's move to the history of JavaScript. Okay, so let's now move to the history of JavaScript. Okay, so this JavaScript was introduced or developed by a developer whose name is Brendan H, right? And he just developed this in 7 days, or so sorry, he just developed in 10 days, right? Just 10 days. Okay, so basically when JavaScript was developed, it was not quite popular. It, even though it doesn't have any practical use case. Okay, so at initially JavaScript were used to build some short scripts. So okay, so what are the use case of those scripts? Those scripts are just used to do a little thing. Okay, maybe just fill a form, or maybe track some event. Okay, so such little things were possible with JavaScript. Okay, and later on 1975, so when were JavaScript were introduced? It were introduced in 1995. Then on later 1997, ECMAScript were introduced. Okay, so what is this ECMAScript? ECMAScript is the rule engine. Okay, so ECMAScript is the rule engine. So basically ECMAScript is created a set of rules. Okay, and JavaScript further follow these rules. Okay, so for example, if you want to declare a variable, right, so you have to use this var and then name this variable something, and then you can assign some value. Okay, so these are the set of rules. Okay, these are the set of rules. So these set of rules are defined by this ECMAScript. Okay, and the JavaScript is following these ECMAScript rules, right? So that sets the standard upon which each and every developer can work on. Okay, and because of the rules are set, so that a person works in India, a person works in New Zealand, a person works in US. Now each one have this rule book that if you want to write the code in JavaScript, you must have to follow these rules, else we are not going to accept it, right? So that's create a standardization when you are writing your JavaScript code. Okay, so now take the story of the evolution of JavaScript, how JavaScript evolved, right? So initially when JavaScript was built, it is just a language which executed line by line. What does it mean? It simply means that if we are at this line, okay, and we are executing this line, then we will wait until this whole execution will complete it. Okay, then only we can go to next line, then only we can go to next line, then only we can get to next line. So okay, so this is what we call single threaded language. Okay, so this is single thread language. That means you have just one pipeline. Okay, so each and every line is like this. So first you execute this code, then you can move to this. If you execute this code, then you move to this, and so on. You are not able to bypass any code. Okay, but later with the introduction in 2000 that we known as JavaScript, AJAX. Okay, so what is AJAX? AJAX is nothing but asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Okay, so this asynchronous gives an ability to even bypass some of the code. Okay, so what basically that means, that bypass means? So bypass means simply, for example, now I have these 4 functions, okay, in JavaScript, in my JavaScript file, right? So I'm going to this file, okay, this function. I'm executing this, and it is because of it probably going to take less time, so I just wait for its execution. Okay, but and so this is the second one, but I know that this second function is going to take a time for maybe, let's say, 10 seconds. Okay, so I just don't want to block the execution of JavaScript for 10 seconds. Okay, so what I made this function asynchronous, right? I make this function asynchronous. By doing this, what happens that it will allow my JavaScript cursor to go to next line. Now go to next line. Okay, so now I have this ability that anything that have that potential to block my flow of code, I can tell my JavaScript, okay, let's first execute other parts, okay, and then after you can proceed it in the background, and once you finished, you can give me the result. Okay, so that's how this asynchronous behavior works in JavaScript. Okay, so with that introduction of AJAX, it took quite a revolutionized step in terms of JavaScript, because this had opened up the possibility of using JavaScript in many different platforms and in many different ways. So now it gained the ability to work with both client side and server side. Okay, and now it at the same time it also gained this ability to even not reloading the page. So what is the mean by not reloading the page? It now gain the ability to process the data in the background, and when they completed their process, now it can give back their data to browser. Okay, so by using this ability, now we just don't have to show my user this loading sign or that hard reload whenever I want to refresh my page. Okay, and that is what we see in modern JavaScript or Angular, okay, as its core functionality. So this is what we had. This is how this AJAX or this asynchronous JavaScript became the game changer in our JavaScript industry, right? Okay, so let's fast forward these process. So in this way, we are able to use JavaScript in many different ways. So one of its best use cases is now we are able to create our servers by using JavaScript. Initially, it was just limited to our browser or the front end. Now we can create our servers by using JavaScript, and to do that, most popular is that Node.js. You can also use Dino, you can also use Bun.js, and there are many other softwares that you can use to create the environment. Okay, and in a front end side, so these are the popular frameworks that you can use. These are Angular, React, Vue.js. Okay, so building your interactive user interface with lot of functionality that you can implement according to your use case, right? Next, let's talk a little bit about its structure. Okay, so basically, because of that JavaScript when initially built, it basically focuses that its structure should be somewhere similar to that of C++ or C language. Okay, so the core belief is that if someone from C++ or C, because those are the language which were quite popular and were used for a very long time, so it's just a thought that if we try to make the syntax of JavaScript somewhere similar to C++ and this, then the developers don't have to put a lot of effort to work with the JavaScript and can easily use this JavaScript into their language as according to their use cases. Okay, so this JavaScript was developed in a same syntax, probably following the almost same syntax which C++ follows. We use the semicolon to terminate our code. Terminate means to go to the next line, right? And nowadays we are using var, let, and const to declare our variables. Okay, and all these three have different meanings and different use cases that we will see as we go further in this course, in this series, right? So now we can use different data types. So data types are the types of data that we can use in JavaScript. So in general way, you can say you can define the data type as string, as number, as boolean, and as object, and many different types that we do discuss in our later parts. So now we have some functions. So what is a function? So function is a block of code that we can use, that we want to use in our application multiple times. Okay, so instead of writing such repetitive code again and again, what we do, we just wrap the code into a function, a block, and we can assign a name to this. Okay, and now whenever we refer this function, it can simply execute the same code. So now basically it helps you to optimize your code at one place and use at many different places. Okay, and then we have this control flow. So this control flow means whenever we want to put some conditional statements, so to put the conditional statements, we use this if else, and this for and while loop and do while loop, see, right? So these are the different conditional statements that we are going to see in our course, right? So as in conclusion, what we can say that JavaScript is not just a language. So basically it's a language, but it's more than that, because nowadays when it had started, it just used as a scripting language. Okay, then it built its ability, and many developers, many more developers had added an extreme level of abilities to the JavaScript. Now it is used as to build website, not just static website but dynamic website. Further, it grows to a language which can not just build a website, but that can also you can use to build some small level of code or some kind of software. Okay, and at the same time you can also use the same language to build your applications, and not just applications, it's Android application, it's iOS application and all, right? So now JavaScript is not just a front end or a back end, it covers the whole, right? It covers the whole, whatever you can imagine of. It uses to build extension, it uses to build softwares, it uses to build front end, it uses to build back end, it uses to build Android apps, it uses to build iOS apps, it uses to build almost everything, right? So that's why JavaScript is becoming so popular. And at the same time, because of somewhere when you come with some another language, for example like C++, Java, right? So you may find that it not follow all the rules which you learn in C++ or JavaScript. So at some point you may also get some conflict around the concepts that you were taught in different languages. But it's quite okay, right? Because no two languages are same. Okay, you are going to find some differences. Okay, and for those differences, if you want to learn something, you must be ready to adopt new changes, right? So that is a brief introduction about JavaScript, and I hope that you had learned a lot, if not just a lot, but somewhere you may had find something interesting or something new. So let me know in the comment section how you basically like this video or not, and what you like about this video or what you not, right? So let's meet you in our next video. Till then, yeah, have a nice day and goodbye.